Someone's in the kitchen with Bonnie. Yum.
Hello and happy holidays. Welcome to Someone's in the Kitchen with Bonnie, and that someone is you. We're going to make a couple of things today that you could take to a potluck or you could serve your family. They're delicious, easy to make, which is a very important part, with not very many ingredients. Sometimes when I look at a menu, if it has too many ingredients, next, I don't even want to look at it. And I'm sure that some of you feel that same way. So today we're going to make a lemon Parmesan orzo, and this is served warm, and it's really quite delicious. So I've already cooked the orzo, so you wouldn't have to watch the boiling pot, and it calls for some olive oil. So I already put the olive oil in there so it wouldn't get all stuck together. So we're going to put that in this bowl here to add the other ingredients. Goes pretty quickly. I love orzo. I'm Italian and I pretty much love any pasta, but I really love orzo because it's so versatile. You can make salads with it. You can make warm dishes. One of the things I like to make for the seniors here at Lutheran Church of the Cross is a grilled vegetable Mediterranean dish. And I grill all kinds of vegetables quickly in the oven, add it to the orzo with a little feta, maybe some Kalamata olives, and it's just ready to go. So quick and easy. This, I don't think you could get any easier than this. This is a little bit of Parmesan cheese. It's freshly grated. The warmth will melt that in just a little bit. And then for some color, we add some parsley that I've chopped up nice and small. Nice and colorful. And then a 1/4 teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And that, believe it or not, is all there is to it. This can be served with fish or chicken or pretty much anything, really. So delicious. I'm going to taste it for seasoning. See if it needs anything else. Nope. Now, since it's for a potluck, I'm going to put it in a pretty dish. One of the things I like to do is take a towel and get it wet, put it in the microwave until it's nice and hot, and put it in the dish that I'm going to serve in. And this is crystal, so I wouldn't want to put this in a microwave or the oven. And then it's ready to take whatever your food is. So now that's all ready to go. This can go on the potluck table just like this. Now the next dish we're going to make is done with a slow cooker. And since I didn't want you to stand here for 4 hours while we had the slow cooker working, we have some yams, or what most people call sweet potatoes, but they aren't not sweet potatoes. These are yams. Yams are the orange flesh. Sweet potatoes are usually white flesh. So that's a little educational opportunity today. So it's 3 pounds of potatoes, 1/2 cup of melted butter, some brown sugar, some orange juice, a little salt, and some vanilla. And this has been cooking for 4 hours. So we're going to mash this up now. Ooh, it smells good in here. Another thing that I like to do with my crock pot, especially if it's an overnight event and the kids or grandkids are going to be up early, is to make a breakfast casserole. And it's an egg-based dish with bread. And so it's bread, egg, heavy cream. I like to put breakfast sausage in, cooked in bulk, and put it in the oven. Let it sit overnight first of all, and then not in the oven, pardon me, in the crock pot, and cook it up, and it's ready to go, ready for your breakfast. So delicious. I'm sure you don't all have a potato masher this size, but it's all I have here. Alrighty. So how can we make this even better? Well, we're going to add a topping on this. Now this topping can be added in the last 30 minutes or after you do what we're doing here. You can put it back plugged in again for additional 30 minutes. But it's really hot, and I've left this out so the butter's already melted, or softened rather. So we have half a cup of butter, some flour, to be like a crumble. Get that started. Another thing that's nice for Christmas in your crock pot is mulled wine. And you can use a less expensive bottle of wine. I like to use a Cabernet or perhaps a Merlot, or even a Pinot Noir would be good. And then to that, I add a little bit of orange liqueur or brandy, depending on who's going to have it. Some of my friends would prefer the orange liqueur because it's a bit more flavorful. Then I cut up an orange in thin slices and put that in there. And then in a little bag, a little sachet bag, you add 8 cloves, 2 cinnamon sticks, 2 star anise. Yep, that's it. Tie it in there and drop it in the crock pot along with the wine and the brandy. And then another thing I like to add pretty much halfway through is a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup. That is so delicious. Brown sugar comes next. This smells so good. One of the interesting things about brown sugar that I'm sure most of you already know is that when you measure it, it has to be packed in whatever you're measuring it in, whether it's by the tablespoon or by the cup. It always needs to be packed in nice and tight. Not many other things are like that. Now the next thing we're going to add is pecans. These are pecan pieces, so they're a little less expensive to buy at the store than whole pecans and then chopping them up. And I like to leave them a little bit bigger like this because if they're too small, I think they sort of get lost in the dish. We don't want that. And then the last bit that we add to this is cinnamon and nutmeg. Now, I had the opportunity to go to an estate sale a while ago, and they had this little thing. I couldn't figure out what it was, and I finally realized it was to grate the nutmeg. So I now have whole nutmeg, and I grate it, usually as a finish for a dish. Okay, last little bits are the seasonings. Oh, it smells like Christmas in here. So today, as I was getting ready to make this, I started off with a much bigger crock pot and I plugged it in, and lo and behold, my crock pot had died. So I threw away the bottom part and I kept the inside bit. And I was trying to figure out, well, what am I going to do with that? Maybe I have a friend that needs a new insert on their crock pot. And then I realized I could put this in the refrigerator or the freezer and get it nice and cold and then serve eggnog in it. And so that's what I'm going to do with that. And I have eggnog from eggnog recipe from a friend from Hawaii, and his mother gets album credit for that. So we're gonna do that. Okay, so We're going to skip the part where you cook this in there for 30 minutes, and we're just going to go right to what would be next. So yams are this beautiful orange color. Sweet potatoes are usually white, and they're much more fiber, I believe, to them to be. And I don't think they're as flavorful. And a lot of us used to have the casserole with marshmallows. In fact, I think our friend CJ used to fix that for her husband. And he called them mushrooms because they would get nice and toasty brown, and they would look like mushrooms and didn't look like marshmallows any longer. But I think for some of us, the marshmallow thing is old and passé, so we move on to other things. And maple syrup and pecans and a little brown sugar with some nutmeg and cinnamon is just the ticket. All right. So normally this would sit, I would push it down there just a little bit like that, and then it would go in with the lid and get plugged in for another 30 minutes, but it's really, really soft already. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stir this in, and we'll give that a couple of minutes to sit, and then we'll plate it. So another interesting thing that has come along in the last several years is air fryers, and I was hesitant to even try them, but I live alone now. Well, as alone as I can be with 3 cats, and I do like to cook for myself every night. I don't go out to eat very often at all because I like fresh. I like to know what's in it, and I like quick and easy also. So the air fryer has become my new best friend. And for those of you that have never tried it before, you can cook pretty much anything in it. I have a friend that lives in the village that makes her hard-boiled eggs in the air fryer, which just makes my head explode. And she says it's 9 minutes and they're jammy or something. I'm just kind of blown away by that. But one of the other things you can do is you can get a paper liner and then put all of your ingredients that you're having for your dinner inside the paper liner, and then when it's done, you toss the paper liner and there's not much cleanup. That's a really cool thing. I have a friend that lives in Texas. He's 97. He still arranges music for me, and he's a wonderful jazz ukulele player. And he convinced a bunch of people that live in his community to get air fryers. Now, these 90-somethings all get together. There's 30 of them. They bring their air fryers to their community center, and they share their best practices, their best recipes. What a fun thing to do. Of course, it takes a lot of electricity to run all this. Okay, so why am I putting it in this dish? Well, I wouldn't do this until it was just time to serve. But one of the things that makes a buffet table look so nice is to have everything at different levels. I'm sure you've been to a buffet before where the table is covered with a cloth that's not stretched out straight. Oops. It's kind of lumpy, if you will, and underneath that lumpy tablecloth are boxes and bowls and different things to give all the foods to be presented at a different height. It makes it visually more pleasing. And so that's why I'm using this pedestal bowl. I normally would not use this pedestal bowl for this. I would save this for my trifle, which we should make at some point together. And yeah. Now for CJ, I suppose we could put marshmallows in it, but not today. Sorry. So there. That's very pretty. And then this will soak. We clean that real quickly. A little mess here, sorry. There we go. So that with a little mulled wine and maybe some bread pudding at the end. And this would accompany many things. This could accompany prime rib or beef tenderloin or chicken stuffed with Boursin cheese with a little rosemary. There's just so many things that we can do to this. Sweet and creamy, and this is also creamy because of the cheese. Now, if you wanted to bump this up, what would we do to bump this up? Well, you could put some chicken in it. One of the things that I've discovered living alone is that if I buy a package of chicken at the grocery store, it'll have 2 or 3 pieces of chicken in it. And I don't eat 2 or 3 pieces at a time. And I don't want to wrap them always wrap them up and freeze them. But I could do is cook 2, save 1 for another time, eat 1 for dinner, and then that other piece that's cooked, shred it or chop it into small pieces. And it could go in a dish like this very easily. And there you have 2 dishes, cook once, and you have 2 dishes. Now, this is, I tasted this one, make sure it has enough cheese. That's good. You could also chill this. Okay. If I were to chill that and I wanted to make it go a little farther, I would add cherry tomatoes, maybe a little green onion. Yep, that would be really good. Another thing we could do would be to, with that, if we added the chicken or some sort of a protein and we chilled it, we could serve it with Belgian endive or endive leaves as like an appetizer. Another easy thing to serve. Now for Belgian endive for holidays, one of the things I love to do is take the little leaves, put a little blue cheese in there, a little bit of crushed nuts, probably pistachio, sometimes I've used almonds, and then you drizzle it with a little bit of honey and a little sprinkle of sea salt. And it's done, it's beautiful, it's quick, it's easy, it's gorgeous, and it's quite delicious. Another appetizer that I love that sometimes people serve for dessert, but I love to serve it as an appetizer, is fresh figs cut in half. You dry them off a little bit so they will allow the chocolate to cling to it. So you dip it in hot chocolate and then sprinkle it with some nice big chunks of sea salt. Oh, it's so delicious. And it goes really great with champagne, which of course now we're talking about New Year's. Something that takes a little longer that will be ready in time for New Year's is this gallon of peppers that I put up this week. I did this yesterday, actually. I had a lot of peppers, and they were getting ready to go south. So I thought before I let them slip away, I'm going to do something fun with them. The church is having a fall festival, and we'll be using these at the fall festival. I'll have it out on the table along with baked beans and hot dogs and coleslaw. It should be a lot of fun. But this is, I start with white wine vinegar and water, sugar, peppercorns, crushed garlic. I bring that up to a simmer and then let it cool just a little bit. Then I add another kind of vinegar. I add apple cider vinegar and honey. Chop these babies up. Now the peppers that are whole, we need to puncture them a little bit so that the pickling will get in. Oh, also there's also pickling salt in here as well. Well, they already smell good. I'm scared to death to bite them because I have a feeling they're going to be really hot. But you puncture them. I used a toothpick. You can use a needle, I suppose, and the pickling brine then gets in there. So these will sit for a couple weeks in the refrigerator. And then I know some people like to have really hot and spicy food with their hot dogs. I'm not one of those people personally. I like to taste the hot dog. But this can be put out for pretty much any occasion, really. A lot of people like hot, peppery things. I like jalapenos, not pickled, but sliced and put out on the table. My barbershop quartet that I sing in, we get together every Friday night, and we almost always have jalapenos on the table. And one of the girls last night had something that was quite a bit hotter, and I just barely touched it to my tongue, and I couldn't sing for half an hour. So we don't do that anymore. I don't think we'll do that anymore. But nice and spicy. So I'm sure you've seen all these spice things up here. This is not for a normal kitchen. This is only for a commercial kitchen because they don't last forever. And but they will last me until I will use all of them. Another thing that I use a lot of in this kitchen is fresh garlic. I like to buy it peeled. I buy it peeled at Costco, and I go through a 2-pound bag once a month, at least once a month. Some of them are in here. Very delicious. So if you are into hot food, stick around because in an upcoming episode we'll make some killer fire-breathing chili, and we'll also make some chocolate chili, possibly for Valentine's Day with some nice decadent chocolate cakes. So if you want to come and join me in the kitchen, please reach out at culinaryqueen24@gmail.com or reach out to the station. I think they can put you in touch with me as well. I hope you enjoyed today. Take care.